Be fun. I wish I had.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Here we are again for our Tuesday, Thursday live tricks and tips. This time we have an amazing guest for you. I'm so excited. All the way from Southern California. This guy is the number 5 scooter athlete in the world, 2 years running now. And he came out and spent a week with us at Camp Royal last summer. He'll be out with us again this summer. We're so excited to be able to hang out with him again. All around amazing dude, absolute loves Jesus, and is absolutely incredible on a scooter, pushing the forefront of the sport. And one of the most consistent guys as well that I've ever seen on a scooter. So excited to have him. I'm going to join him in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Flom.
Hey,
Yo.
what's good, homies?
What up, Cody? How you doing, man?
Say it again.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I wish I was able to be at a skate park right now, and I also wish it was a sunny day. But Southern California decided to have it rain, so I'm inside for now.
What is this, like your one day of rain a year?
Yeah, pretty much. This year actually has been kind of crazy. We've gotten more rain than normal, which is it's a good thing. But I mean, for me as a rider, like we don't have any indoor parks. I want to ride.
That's right. Yeah, I guess since you guys never get rain, there's no reason to have an indoor skate park.
Yeah, that, and it's also expensive. Like the prices are through the roof for like an industrial building in the city.
Yeah, for sure. Luckily, I guess you got your garage. That's going to be your indoor park for today, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Featureless indoor park, I guess, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet, man. So once this whole thing blows over, do you have any competitions coming up? Anything planned?
Well, I did. We had World Finals scheduled to happen in about middle of July. However, all the qualifiers have been canceled, so everything's kind of up in the air. It's kind of annoying, to be quite honest, because you have things that you're looking forward to. You have the summer, all these trips lined up, and then everything just kind of gets flipped on its head. But oh well. Yeah. For now, just kind of play it by ear, see how long this thing lasts for, and then hopefully when we're able to get back on our scooters at the skate park, maybe film a new video part if no competitions are happening.
Yeah, that's rad, man. Hey, Logan Milton says, yo.
Yeah,
shout out to Logan.
Glad to have you.
Yo, what's good, Logan? We got Brandon's on here. Gabe's on here. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Next Cody's coming back. What week you coming out this summer? You're going to come towards the beginning of camp, right?
Right. I'm pretty sure I'm scheduled to come out beginning of June.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. So amped to have you out again. I know the kids absolutely loved having you last time. Like, it was probably a little hectic on your side, just brushing kids off all the time, huh?
Dude, it was fun, though. I mean, looking back, in the moment, it was quite hectic. It was a bit overwhelming, but looking back, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, we got some rock climbing and some cliff jumping and stuff. So, we'll be out doing that.
I'm pumped for that.
That's right. I know you are. Cool, man. So, Cody, you're going to jump on and teach us, it sounds like, a couple tricks today. You want to tell us what you're gonna teach?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I want to go through 2 tricks. One's a bit more kind of like leaning towards the beginner side of things, and then the second is a bit more advanced. The reason I'm choosing these tricks is because I think you guys could be practicing these while you're in lockdown. So the first trick is going to be a double whip. The second will be an inward bri flip, or a front bri. I like that name better.
Sweet. Let's jump into it, man. I'll switch you over to the main screen, and yeah, you can jump on it. Like I said, Cody's number 5 scooter athlete in the world, and just an all-around good guy, man. We love having him out here. He's got a list of sponsors. Actually, before you jump into it, man, tell us about your clothing company.
Absolutely. So I created my own clothing brand. For now, it's just a clothing brand called Conquer. And the message behind the brand is to encourage kids in action sports and also just in life to not be overcome by their circumstances in life, but to conquer them with the Lord Jesus. So for me, honestly, I created the brand just for myself because it's just as much an encouragement to me as I hope it is to everybody else. So that's what that is.
That's awesome, man. Tell us about the rest of your sponsors. Who do you ride for right now?
Right now, I'm just riding for 2 companies. Lucky Scooters is the company that actually manufactures the scooters that I ride. This is my signature deck and then signature wheels as well. And then the Vault Pro scooters, which is a shop in Culver City, Culver City. And they sell like different brand scooters. And
Awesome.
honestly, they're good people.
That's so cool, man. Good. I'm going to tell a quick little story before you jump into it. I was at a bike park, skate park recently, and this kid was getting picked on by his buddies for the scooter that he was riding. And because he had a lower end scooter and his buddies were giving him a hard time. And so I reached out to my buddy Cody here, and we ended up getting this kid set up with a new deck. So like I said, Cody's just such a good guy, want to help people out, and we were able to get this kid a new deck, and now he's got the coolest deck out of all of his friends. And so moral of the story, don't make fun of your buddies, because your buddy might have a better deck than you if you make fun of him. It pays to be a good person, right?
Definitely. I mean,
awesome,
kindness is free.
That's right, man. Cool. Well, I'm going to switch the screen over to you, and let's learn some tricks.
Sounds good. Awesome. So before I get right into it, while I wait for some more people to hop on, I'm going to get warmed up. I'm going to do 3 flat tricks. I'm a bit confined, and to be honest, I'm a bit worried because I don't want to hit the ceiling. I don't think I will, but, it's just still in the back of my head. I'll do 3 flat tricks, do bride flip, finger whip, and then trip whip to just get started, kind of get my legs warm. There's the first. That's actually one of my favorite,
man.
And then go with the finger whip now. So good. And then last one, I'll do trip whip. This is kind of just for my sake. Get warmed up. Wait for some more people to hop on. Sweet. Sounds good. So like I said at the beginning of this, I'm going to be going over 2 tricks. The first will be a double whip, and the second will be a trip whip. And since we're in this time of quarantine and lockdown, I can't actually be at a skate park. However, I do think that you guys can be at least attempting these 2 tricks on your own, at least in your garage or flat ground outside, if you just use a little bit of patience, because riding flat does require quite a bit of effort. But I know you guys can get it done. So for the first trick, going to get into the double whip. This trick actually took forever for me to land flat. I remember, I don't know how old I was, maybe like 11 years old. My friends and I always spent our days riding scooters in and out of the school nearby and the skate park as well. And sometimes we'd ride flat. And one of my friends had a lighter scooter than me, so he could jump higher and he could whip his deck faster. And so he could do double whip flat. And every time I saw him do it, I was like, what the heck? How is this fool doing this? Every attempt I would, get 1 foot, or I wouldn't even get 2 whips around. And it would just kind of be discouraging. But nevertheless, I kept trying. And I can do, the most whips I've done flat now is 4. So I've been able to kind of overcome the feeling of discouragement over the years. So if you guys aren't getting these tricks at the start, don't get discouraged. It just takes time. Really, I've been riding for about 10 years. And I've learned a lot, not just on my scooter, but in life as well. So with this double whip, I like to think of it in 3 different parts. First, I ask myself, what am I doing with my feet? What am I doing then with my hands? And then for the last part, what am I doing with my arms? So to start, I think of my foot placement. What I like to do with this trick, and most all of my tricks, because it helps me have a little bit more leverage and jump a bit higher, is put my feet towards the back end of my scooter deck. So my back foot will pretty much be resting up against my brake. And likewise, my front foot is right next to my back. And like I said, this allows me to jump as high as I possibly can off of the ground. And since I'm riding flat, I got to jump as high as I can, at least, 6 feet. No, I'm just kidding. I can't jump that high. But yeah, I want to be able to jump as high as I can, so that way I can get the rotation of the deck around. After I do that initial jump, what I like to do, and this is preference of what foot you like throwing the deck with, but for me, I found that it's easiest to throw the deck with my front foot. So it's this initial flick with my front foot, and then this actually sets up my back foot in the perfect position for me to catch it, just like that. So the way that I think of this, I don't really like catching the deck with 2 feet like this, because for me, it's like trying to stick a pin in a hole really fast. It's not really the easiest way to go about things. For me, for most of the tricks that I do, I have my feet pretty much widespread, because I think of a cat with its tail sticking up, he uses his tail for as much balance as he can possibly get. When my feet are like this, I have way more balance than if my feet are together, because then I'll just fall over. So my suggestion, jump off the ground, flick with your front foot, catch with your back, and then into the land. And before I get into the other two parts, I'll show you a quick demonstration of what I mean by spreading my legs when I do the trick. See how my legs were pretty much widespread the whole time? I'll do one standing still again. That way, I just have as much balance as I possibly can get with this trick. So now, moving on to the second part, I like to think about my hand placement. What am I doing with my hands in this trick? Depending on the trick you do and how fast you want to rotate your tricks, sometimes you have your hands on the outside of your grip or the inside. Like for a bar spin, my hands are on the inside of my grip, so that way I can spin the bars as fast as I can. However, for the double whip, I like to have my hands pretty much situated on the inside or on the center of my grips, just like so. This allows me to have the most torque possible when I'm doing this trick, and it gives me as much leverage as I possibly can get when I'm spinning the deck. In addition to that, practicing this motion, that's going to be the key to your success. For the last part of this trick, I like to think about my arm movement. So, like I was just demonstrating, I'd like to practice the progression of tricks before I actually attempt them. So what I mean when I say progression is simply just this. I'm on the ground. I put one foot on the ground, pick my scooter up, double whip, catch. I'm essentially simulating what the trick is going to feel like. So that way I kind of know what to expect when I actually attempt the trick for the first time. And my suggestion, do as many whips as you can. So that way you can kind of get used to dictating the speed at which your deck spins. The faster you whip the deck, especially when you're doing it flat, the more likely you're going to be able to land this trick. So again, it's really just practice. Because I can't exactly communicate the feeling of having your bars and your deck perfectly timed so that way it's whipping properly. My encouragement is just to experiment. If you're standing right here and it's not working, then try something else. It just takes persistence and patience in order to get that timing perfectly to where you're moving your arms, you're moving your bars to where your deck is rotating at just the right speed. So just like that. I'll do another double whip for you right now. And now for the last part of the third thing I was saying about arm movement, what I find to be super helpful and a mistake that I see a lot of kids making is when you double whip, a lot of times the first instinct is to have your bars kind of close to your waist. But what I like to do is push my bars away from me. And the reason for this is so that way when I land, I don't move out. So if I did a double whip and I kept my bars to my waist, it'll look like something like that, and then I fall back. Don't want that to happen. So for me, I jump off, I do a J hop, push my bars forward, double whip, catch, land. The idea is you want your front wheel and your back wheel pretty much level when you're hitting the ground. If you're landing like this, you're done so. So again, my suggestion, get those bars away from your waist. Awesome. So that pretty much does it for the double whip. And I know this probably sounds pretty complicated for a seemingly simple trick, and it's not. Honestly, when you attempt the trick for yourself, you'll begin to figure out what your weaknesses are, and then as a result, be able to figure out what the best way to go about learning and maintaining consistency with the trick is. So I encourage you guys, regardless of how good or bad you think you are, just try the trick. Even if it's totally out of your bag of tricks, why not? Just give it a go. You're only riding flat, so if you bail, just toss the scoot. Sweet. So now I want to move on to my next trick, and that is a front bri. Some people call it inward bri flip, but I just like the name front bri better. And I do this trick in two different ways. One is particular to the skate park, and then the other is particular to doing it flat. And then obviously, since I'm in my garage, I don't have a skate park and I don't have any ramps, So I'm going to show you guys how I like to do this trick flat. For any overhead scooter trick, I like to practice the progression of it, just like I was showing you with the double whip. When I say progression, all I mean is this. I can just ride in, then I start standing still, put a foot down, and then I practice the motion. It's pretty simple when it comes down to just standing still and doing it. But again, it helps me to kind of like know what to expect when I actually tried the trick for the first time. With that, I remember, I don't know how old I was, but the biggest concern of doing any overhead scooter trick is having the deck hit your head. And I've only had 2 occasions where I've actually hit myself in the head with my deck. And this was, I think the first time I was 12. Thankfully, I had a helmet on. I went off the lip of a ramp, and I tried to do this trick. And right about here, scooter just went straight into my head. And I remember being so, like, razzled in the air. And then I fell, kind of like, hurt my ankle or whatever happened. Didn't hurt anything, like, severely, but it kind of, like, gave me, like, a shock. So my suggestion is make sure you have the motion of the trick down before you actually go and try it, because it just sucks when you hit your head mid-trick, and because then you end up hitting the floor after that and everybody's looking at you, and it just sucks. I remember practicing for a competition run in front of like all my friends, and there was like whoever else was there in the crowd, and I totally did buttercup straight into my head. I was like, oh, that was dumb. I'm just like laying on the ground thinking about what I did. It's just, you don't want that to happen to you. So practice the motion of it. Get the progression down, just like this. Again, like similar to the double whip, for a front bri, I think of this trick in 3 different parts. The first is what am I doing with my hands, again, and then what am I doing with what am I doing with my feet, what am I doing with my hands, and what am I doing with my arms. So for the first part, foot placement is important for this trick. It's pretty much the same as the double whip. I have my feet situated towards the back end of my deck, closer to my brake. Again, this gives me more leverage and allows me to flick the deck faster when I'm performing the trick. I think a common misconception with this trick too is that you don't really need to involve your feet in the movement of it. And what I found to be true is simply not this. You need the movement of your feet with this trick, because if I were to jump off my scooter, I'm standing next to it now, and then just try to yank the front bri over my head, the deck just kind of does what it wants, like this. And then my scooter is not straight, and then I don't land the trick. So the biggest, one of the most crucial parts of this trick is how am I flicking the deck. So with the progression that I showed you, I'm going to be riding, or I'm going to be standing still, and I'm going to put my front foot down as if I'm doing like a can-can. And then I flick the deck up with my back foot, just like so. Practice this again. This is simulating exactly what I do when I actually perform the trick. I get my front foot out of the way as soon as possible, because a lot of times what happens when your front foot stays on the scooter, this happens. You go like that, your foot stays on, and now you're just belly flopping onto the floor. That sucks. Try to avoid that. So get that front foot out of the way so the back foot can go ahead and flick it. That's what I found to be most helpful anyway when I'm practicing like the motion of the trick with my feet. Again, don't discredit don't devalue the movement of your feet for this trick. It's super important. It's just as important as the movement of your arms. So for the second part, I think of my hand placement and movement. So for my hand placement, it's kind of opposite of what the double whip is. I have my hands kind of inside my grips, as if I'm doing like a bar spin, because this allows me to increase the overall fluidity of the trick. It just makes it look better, makes it spin faster, rotate faster. Overall, it's just easier to do it that way, at least for me. And again, with hand movement, it's super important. When I'm about like, the scooter is pretty much like right above my head, say like right there, I actually loosen my grip just a little bit, because I've found that this also allows me to increase the overall flow of the trick. So that way it's not so rigid, because you don't want to have it going over your head and have it do something like this. I'm not really like allowing the scooter to go where it wants. I'm like being a bit contrived, and it just makes the trick quite a lot harder. So loosen your grip just a little bit when the scooter's like right above your head. So that way you can allow the rotation of the trick and the bars to do what it needs to do in order for you to land it. So again, here's the progression. Right there, I loosen my grip. Just like so. Now for the last part of this trick, I'm going to talk about your movement of the arms. So I could say like a ton of things about this, and it'd probably take a while. So I'm just going to leave you with this one thing. Keep your elbows as close to your body as you possibly can, because there's nothing that I despise more than when my bar, like the down tip of my bar right here, hits my elbow. The worst pain you'll ever experience. It sucks. This is something like this happens. Right about there, it hits your elbow, and you'll hear it. It's just like, oh, right into the bone. It sucks. So keep those elbows in. It makes it a lot easier to do this trick, and also, in my opinion, it makes it look a little better. But again, that's kind of a style preference. If you guys like it a different way, do it a different way. But I just want to warn you, it doesn't feel good when that bar hits your elbow. So again, like with any trick, we all have our own different style. We all have a different way in which we go about doing a trick. So if any of the things or any of the tips that I've given you doesn't really make sense to you or doesn't work for you, like physically when you attempt the trick, then I say forget it. I'm not saying that all my advice is like, rubbish. However, if there is a particular way that you would prefer to do it, I would encourage that, because we all have our own different style, and it's fun to mix things up. If you like throwing tail whips like that instead of like that, then okay, go for it. But of course, maintaining consistency with whatever motion you're doing or whatever trick you're doing is super crucial as well. So before I end this out, I'm going to do a couple front brides so you guys get the idea of what the trick looks like. One thing that I didn't mention as well, when I'm doing the trick flat, I like to do a traditional bunny hop. So what that means is my front wheel and my back wheel are level. So I jump off the ground like this instead of like that. That's how I normally would jump. I can jump higher that way. But because the rotation of the trick first goes forward, I want my front wheel down close to the ground because I've pretty much already started the motion. Otherwise, I go backwards. I'm like this, and then like that. It takes too long. So I jump traditional bunny hop like that. Check it out. I'm really hoping I don't hit the ceiling here. I think we're good. My bars aren't that tall. Awesome. Let me do a couple more. Sweet. All right, one more, and I want you to look at my feet this time. When I perform the trick, my front foot pretty much gets out of the way of the deck as soon as possible. My back foot is doing the flicking, so check out my front foot because I'll be on this side. Awesome. So hopefully that helped you guys with understanding these tricks and also improving on them. I know you guys can get these done while you're in quarantine. I mean, we have so much time. Might as well spend it on doing something that we all enjoy. You guys want to know what I think is the craziest thing about scootering? Or it's the most interesting thing, I should say. I like the idea or the concept that we've kind of created our own language. You see, if you were to show that portion of the video where I was just teaching you guys how to do double whips and front bries, and you showed it to say your mom or your dad, they would probably finish the video and then they ask you hey, what's a front bri? What's a double whip, a tail whip? They wouldn't understand it because we've kind of created these own terms that most of the world doesn't really understand. And I think that's sick. It's like we've created our own community of people, regardless of our upbringing, our age, or our any background. So long as you're a scooter rider, you know what I'm talking about. On the contrary, if I were to stand here and begin citing scriptures of the Bible to you, depending on your upbringing and depending on if you've read your Bible, you might not understand. But regardless of if you consider yourself a believer or not, I believe that God communicates with us in a universal and common way. It's kind of like his own language. And what I've found is that it is love. That is the way that God communicates with us. See, we all pretty much know what it feels like to be rejected. It sucks. You're presented, in front of people, or you're presenting something in front of people and they say, that's dumb, you're lame, leave. Or however it goes about. It sucks. I don't know what other way to put it. It just doesn't feel nice. In addition, though, I believe that we've all pretty much, we all pretty much understand what it feels like to be loved. But sometimes that love isn't entirely genuine. It's kind of like sometimes that love has strings attached. And I'm not trying to diss anybody at all. This is just what I found to be true in us as humans. This is kind of just how we operate. For example, when I was younger, my older brother, would sometimes invite me to hang out with him and his friends. And me, just being the young little guy that I was stoked. I'm like, yeah, of course, Wyatt. I'm excited. I feel loved and feel like stoked that you want me around you and your friends. So I go hang out with them. We have a good time. Whatever happens. And while that feeling of being loved and showed kindness isn't wrong in and of itself, I found out later the only reason my brother ever asked me to hang out with him and his friends was because my parents told him to. Again, I'm not trying to diss my brother. However, it's just like one of the instances that came to mind. And I'm just as susceptible to falling into or offering that type of kind of fake love as anybody else is. But I have a question. What if we were offered a love that looked past our mistakes? A love that didn't have any strings attached. A love that loved us just because it loved us. See, I'm stoked when I think about that. That's kind of like the perfect scenario when it comes to picturing like any type of relationship with a friend or a person, whoever. It's like no strings attached, completely pure. This is awesome. Best case scenario. And I'm stoked today to tell you that this is the love that God offers to us. In John 3:16, it says that God loves us so much that he gave his only son, Jesus, to die on account of our sin, the whole world's sins, so that we wouldn't have to die and so that we could spend eternity with him in heaven. To me, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal. And when I think about God's love to me, regardless of like what I'm going through, I feel encouraged to, live in that freedom that the Lord gives me. So right now we're kind of in like a weird time, this whole quarantine lockdown thing. And as we're spending like 24/7 essentially in really close proximity with our family, what I'm beginning to realize in my own life, and I'm assuming that a lot of people are experiencing this as well, is that sometimes throughout the day, throughout the week, the love that we have for our family, for our brothers, sisters, mom, and dad, begins to run thin. It's hard to like be kind to your siblings when you're just in a bad mood. Like, that's just a human thing that we all have to deal with. It's not exactly like the easiest thing to show respect to your parents when they create seemingly, silly rules. But as we're in this season of experiencing the unfailing love of humans, I want to encourage you and remind you that you and I are both offered an unfailing love from the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you guys today. Right now, I believe that we're in kind of like this season of just not understanding what's going on. But regardless of all that, the Lord still offers us peace that surpasses understanding. And he's still offering us the same love he did before this whole pandemic happened, now as he did before. So that's my encouragement to you guys. And I hope that the trick tips that I helped you or offered you guys helped you in some way. And I want you to keep your head up because it's going to be over soon. And then after that, we can both ride at Camp Royal. Sound good? You good with that, Jarrett?
Yeah, man. So good. Such a good word, man. Yeah, such a good word. Love is the language of God. I love that, man. That is amazing. That's such a good way to put it. Yeah, I don't know if I've even heard it put that way before, man. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Cody on the live chat here? We got. We can go back through some of them. Dakota Hughes says, "Send it, brah." Yeah, man.
I'm always.
There was a bunch of people asking if you could do your trick tips, but in slow motion, like live, but in slow motion. Is that possible? I know you're a man of many talents.
Hmm, maybe not, but if you go in
Yeah,
with like
probably
all
not.
those stuff,
Probably not. I think it was mainly
I'll
Brandon though. Brandon needs to slow things down a little bit to catch him, you know. So
fair enough, fair enough.
yeah, man, awesome. Yeah, such a good word. I love that, man. How you said love is the language of God, and He
Mhm.
does, man. He just offers us an unfailing love that honestly the world can't replicate, man. Right?
No,
Wouldn't you say?
I can't replicate it.
Right, right. I mean, we try like all day, every day, I guess, you know, to love people are well and do our best, but unfortunately, we always just seem to fall short. And there's one man that we know that doesn't.
Yep, exactly.
Come on,
Which is,
man.
encouraging, man. In a
Yeah,
world that offers these things and makes all these promises, he's the only one that can keep them.
come on. That's right. Gabe's asking if you're gonna bring your own climbing shoes this summer.
100% I am. Dude, I got a new pair actually. They're like super aggressive Squama La Sportiva. I'm pretty psyched
Uh,
on them.
Las Sportivas are rad. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've been sending you photos of different routes and stuff. We're gonna get weird this summer, do some rock climbing.
Dude, I'm pumped.
The endless wall, man. We're going.
For real.
We're gonna try to find the end of that thing.
Yes. It'd be so
Oh
good.
man, come on. Yeah, who else is out there? Oh yeah, that was Gabe Probosky that asked that, man. Come
Yeet.
on, that's
That's what's
awesome.
good.
Gabe's been actually out helping me in the woods, man, building jumps and fixing them up, and it's been awesome to have him out there.
Dude, that's so cool. I think like being a mountain bike rider is kind of like a unique experience because like for BMX, skateboarding, and scooter, we're all in the skate park, and it's like
Oh, we just
oh,
lost
we're
you. Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay,
back.
we lost you for a
But
second there.
dude, when you're riding mountain bikes, it's sick. You're like in the woods, in nature. That's exciting.
Yeah, man. Hey, I heard you're pretty good on a bicycle.
I can handle myself.
Let's talk about your experience in the woods jumping the big line last
Oh
year, huh?
God.
I just reposted that video on our story this morning.
Heck yeah, that's what's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember David Lee, one of the mountain bike riders that was there the same week I was. He offered his bike to me to hit the trails, and I went for the biggest jump, like the first jump. And the first attempt, I just was hauling. I was going probably like twice as fast as I should have been. I cranked like 3 times, pumped, sent it, was in the air, and then went straight to flat, sitting on the tire. Thankfully, I didn't fall off, and I just had some like burns on my leg.
You
But then
remember
after that, I like,
you remember the instructional I did right before that where I said don't pump the roller, right?
yeah, dude, but it didn't make any sense. I needed speed, otherwise I was gonna cake.
Oh, you had plenty of speed, brother. You had plenty of speed. Who's got some more questions for Cody out there? Let's see who's still on live with us here. Send out your questions. Cody's here to answer them for a few more minutes. We got about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to jump off here. So take your chance now while you can. And, yeah, send them. Brandon says there's so many scooter riders that are just rad bike riders as well. So what about Ryan Williams, man? R. Willie, that guy's unreal, huh?
So insane. I love watching him like do what he does. He's like an all around just like world class athlete. Regardless of what discipline he's on. World class athlete. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then even Justin Cordici, I think he landed a flare last year at camp on a 20-inch.
Yep, that's what's good. You know,
So
I don't know
awesome.
if you're familiar with Jeremy Malott. However, Jeremy Malott was one of the like pioneer pros of scootering, but now he's professional BMX rider for like Monster, Snafu, Hyper. He's like so talented.
That's awesome. Hey, Logan Milton's asking, do you ride your headset loose or do you ride or tight or loose?
I ride it super tight. Everybody like picks up my scooter and they're like, dude, what are you doing? I can't even like tail whip on this. But for me, it just feels like better that way. I have way more stability and I can like control the speed of like my tail whips and all the tricks that I do way better when it's tight. Like having it loose, I'm like all shaky and wobbly. I don't like it. I need it tight.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. That makes sense to me. Tyler McKinney says, what's up?
Hey, what's good, Tyler? I don't know if I've met him before.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. So yeah, should we pull in that little video of your run last year from England?
Sure, if you guys are down.
Let's
Why
do it.
not?
So I got a little
Yeah.
video here. If you guys are down of Cody's run from England last year, it looks like the My Action Space
Yep.
Invitational, and let's check it out. All right, here we go. I muted the sound, so if you want to narrate, you can.
Yeah, we'll do. So this competition was the first of its kind. It was probably one of the biggest. We all got invited to England, and like we're put up in hotels and all in the same place in the same environment. And we were riding one of the greatest skate parks in the world. So during this run, I was probably having the time of my life because I was doing tricks that I normally can't do on small ramps at the parks here at my house. Coming into this trick right here, I remember I was so tired, but I was like, I got to keep it together because you have about 45 seconds of nonstop going, so you're essentially like holding your breath, sprinting for as long as you possibly can.
Man, it
was
looks like a
totally worth it.
workout. Crazy workout.
It was so fun though, dude. I wish we were doing it again, or I wish I knew when I was doing it again. I'm sure we have another contest. No, I forgot about that run. I fell. Oh well.
So what do you get? 3 runs, or how's it work?
So the format for this run for this competition, it was called I think it was called a jam. Oh, dang. I can't remember the technical name for it now. However, we had a heat with 5 riders, and we had about 5 minutes or 6 minutes in one heat. And so you would go until the 6 minutes was up. If you fell in your run, then that was it. You get out. So if more people fall, then you might get a chance to do even more than 3 runs. But in this case, we all pretty much had enough time to do 3 runs. And so, that's why it happened this way.
Yeah, man. What people don't realize about action sports is it is exhausting when you're at the highest level like that. You're using every muscle in your body, and you got to be really fit and in really good shape.
Dude, it's so true. I feel like I'm sprinting and like flexing every muscle in my body when I'm doing my runs. It's totally fun. Totally worth it though.
Yeah, for sure. Logan's asking when you'll be at camp. I think it's the second week in June.
Is it?
It's something like that.
I remember it was super close to the beginning of June, but I don't have dates memorized because
we'll get that. We'll get it posted up on social media though, Logan. If you just hang tight, and we'll figure out exactly what dates they are, and we're live right now, so you put us on the spot, man. But we don't have our calendars in front of us, but we'll jump out there. All right, man. It looks like we don't have too many more questions. So awesome to have you, brother. That was amazing. Double whips, Bryce. Hopefully everybody's at home in their tiny garage learning these tricks from now on, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's
man.
the idea behind it all. Thanks for having me, Jarrett.
Awesome, man. So good to have you. We're excited for you to come to camp this summer. Tag your friends so they can watch this later. If one of your friends, you didn't see them on here live with you, tag them so they can jump on, check it out later. I'm sure there's lots of you that need to learn double whips, bries. And then you can also take these to basically any other ramp setups too, huh?
Yep, exactly. That's the idea. I mean, it becomes easier as you have more air time. So flat is just the hardest.
Awesome. Cool, guys. We love you guys so much. And thanks for tuning in with us. We'll see you guys soon.
Later.